All right, family Black Power. Y'all know what time it is. It's the Truth Hour with General Sara, Seti. Kick back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com. Y'all already know what time it is. Actually, it's still Black Friday weekend. That's right. We're in the house. It's still Black Friday weekend. And you got to 12 a.m. Eastern time to get in there and get that 25% off, and that's all right. We still going to have deals after this, family. All you have to do is go to the site and go to sales. If you go to sales and click, it's going to always be some discounts in there for the family. That's right. Ring the alarm, KingSeti.com online marketplace, official General Sara Seti DVDs, Classic and Jurassic DVD lectures, t-shirts and hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry for the family. We got it all for you. Necklaces, earrings, finger rings for the kings, for the queens, holistic tonics and remedies. We also got home decor, cultural accessories for the kitchen, living room, and dining room. Check us out, KingSeti.com. Class is not in session. That's right. GeneralSeti.com, Seti University, over 900 video presentations for the family, all subjects under the universe, too raw for YouTube videos, Seti with the master teachers, Freemasonry exposed, the black woman is God, when Egypt ruled the earth, Nubia, mother of Egypt, from Naga to Nigga. We also got the Olmec, Voyages of the Nile, the debates, all world religions, video and radio interviews, highlights from over 50 cities, ancient civilization and mythology, Black power, politics, and economics. The complete General Sara Seti website, GeneralSeti.com, Seti University class is now in session. And of course, we keep it popping on Patreon, BPC making noise, we never come, exclusive live streams, too hot to handle for YouTube. We just dropped the true history of the Caucasian according to biblical scriptures. Also, the live stream from this Thursday, Thanksgiving, the root of all European holidays, is now on Patreon. And you can it was all powerful. And we're going to give y'all a taste of that tonight, family. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, General Seti, King Seti, Sara Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just be respectful, because I will ban your ass. All right? And I don't want to do that. You feel me? I just don't want to do it. So don't put me in that predicament. All right, family. I've been putting in a lot of work, you know what I'm saying? And, I knew I was going to come in and, and touch on, the Thanksgiving. I didn't even touch on Halloween that much. Not, from a live perspective, because I've been touching on it, but I've also been doing a lot of new research, and I figured that after Thanksgiving, I'm gonna really get busy, and so this probably is the first of the videos for the season. You feel what I'm saying? Let me come on out of this. Yeah, let me get the other one up there. Where the other one at? Let me get the other one up there. Yeah. Matter of fact, that might have been it. Let me see. Let me get it where I need to have it. Yeah, we're going to work out tonight. We're going to work out. Touching on 2-3 subjects tonight. Working on 2-3 subjects tonight. All right, here we go. All right, let's do this. Okay, cool. Let me bring this. Okay, cool. That's how we operate. Good. Everything is in the visuals. Everything is in the visuals. All right. All right, family. Tonight, we're going to be doing the Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas sinister connection. And what we got to understand, number one, when you come past the fall equinox, when you come past the fall equinox and pretty much through winter, you see, all of these holidays are interconnected. You see, they're not separate. You see, they're portals, and one portal lead to the next portal. You see, and the one in a sinister demonic procession. You see, and we understand that, you know, in the northern hemisphere, when you when you move past or move into fall, you feel me? You know, you move into an area where, you know, it begins to be a thinning of what they call the veil. And what does that mean? When the sun, you know, begins to die, then, you know, certain malevolent entities feel that it's time to come out. You see, you know, it's time to come out at the, you know, it's dark, it's cold. You feel what I'm saying? It's dark, it's cold. And so, you know, the entities begin to emerge. You see, they begin to emerge from they, you know, from they hidden, you know, they hidden areas. Could be where, you know, it could be hell, it could be, you know, it could even be in some house and shit. It don't make no goddamn difference where the hiding place could be. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got motherfuckers that, you know, they live in the basement and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can hear noises all motherfucking night. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, once you move past fall, you feel me? Once the sun has fallen, then you hear the term autumn. You see, or autumn, the fall of autumn. And we know that autumn is an Egyptian creator, deity, solar deity. You see? And so now when you move into the end of October, the beginning of November, that's what you call Samhain. You see what I'm saying? Or Samhain. You know, let me get it correct. Samhain. When you move in, and so that's the end of summer. You see, when you're dealing with the Celtic, Samhain is the end of summer. And but you know, as you move into the new year, I mean, November is also the new year. You see, when you look at the calendar for these Nordics, you see, when you move into the right here, when you move into the calendar or of the Nordics, you see Samhain. Now it's spelled, you know, Samhain, and many times you gonna pronounce it like it's spelled. But you know, that ain't how they pronounce it. They pronounce it Samhain. How they get it, you know, out of, you know, that those letters is beyond me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's fucked up about the English language. You can spell some shit, and you know, and you think, and however you taught to sound that shit out. You know what I'm saying? And you can come to the letters and shit, and it'll have a whole different fucking pronunciation. You see what I'm saying? So it's actually Samhain. And so you see, that's November 1st. You know what I'm saying? So a Halloween, which is October 31st, is the portal or the doorway that leads actually into Samhain. You see? And so you see that, you know, it's the new, Samhain is actually the new year. November is actually the new year for the Nordics. You see, and then you see Yule leading into Yule, you see, and then you have your winter solstice, your Christmas, you see what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. So you got to see that the Roman is on top of the Nordic. When you're dealing with the American, you're dealing with a mixture of Celtic, you're dealing with a mixture of Nordic, you're dealing with a mixture of the Roman. You see, all three of them is in the American Caucasoid. Now you have other, you know, ethnic backgrounds of Europeans here, but those are the dominant that came. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why you have, you have St. Patrick's Day, which is, which I'm doing as far as these perverted parades that they got going on, and how, what's that? St. Patrick's Day has moved up on the list as far as, I was looking up, the biggest parades and, in America, and how St. Patrick's Day then moved up on the list, you see? And so all of those holidays that's surrounding the sacred months, and you know what I'm saying, of the Vikings, and and the Viking is the last conqueror of Britain. You see what I'm saying? The Romans was there from like 46 BC to about maybe 400 something BC. They was there for about 400 years. And then the Vikings came in around 700, and they stayed there also for about 400 years. And they had a very profound effect on, the culture of Britain that was carried to America. You see, that was brought here. Okay. Now, when we talking about what just happened, Thanksgiving. So you're understanding that Samhain is November. It starts November 1st. Now, another thing about November, when you're dealing with the Vikings, and believe, because English is a Germanic language. You understand what I'm saying? So for all you niggas out there that don't believe it, look it up. Nigga, you speaking German, nigga. That's what you speaking. You understand? English is a Germanic language, and it is because of the profound effect that the Vikings had on, the natives of Britain at that time, whether you call them Celtics or Scottish or Irish or whatever you choose to call them. You see, they had a dominating effect on them because obviously the Celtics, the Scottish and shit, they wasn't strong enough to repel them. They were the weaker tribe, and the Viking, or the Scandinavians, the Germanic tribes were much more authoritative and much more powerful than the Celtic, the Irish, and the Scottish. You see? And so that's why when you call out the days of the week, outside of Saturday, which is Saturn, which is a very profound deity that you see in all the procession of the holidays. I'll break it down to you. You see what I'm saying? He's a profound entity, demonic energy that's prevalent in all these holidays, especially after the fall equinox. You see, the fall of the sun, the rise of the goat, the fall of the sun, the rise of the goat, and the goat is the predominant deity, you understand, along with Saturn, Pan and Saturn. Pan and Saturn. And so you're going to see that combination even with Jesus and Lucifer. Lucifer has also the horned one. And then also with Santa Claus and Krampus. You see, even with Thor and his goats, you see this combination throughout all the, the sacred, demonic entities of these Vikings that is spread out through all the holiday. And you are part of it, no different. You are part of it. And so when you're talking about November, being the first of the month of the Nordics, you see, it is also called Blot Manop, or Manop, with a TH on the end. That means blood month. Okay? Why is it called the blood month? Because when you get to November, it's getting cold. You see, it's getting cold, and any livestock, you know what I'm saying, they not going to have enough food to feed the livestock during the winter. So they begin to sacrifice. You understand? chop the meat up, salt it down, and so forth. And as they do that, they give sacrifice to the gods for a nice harvest. And if you had many calves born that year, then it was necessary to give sacrifice to the gods. Thor and Odin were two of the gods that were heavily sacrificed to. Okay, Thor and Odin, and then you even had one of the Nordic gods called Freyr. Okay, not Frigga or Freya, her brother. Now the goddess of Friday, her brother, who was where the boar was his sacred animal. And so this is why you have during November or Thanksgiving and Christmas, where you have your Christmas ham or your Thanksgiving ham. You see, and so you're going to see that this has been going on amongst these Nordics, and you just practicing, your conquerors, holidays, and this is very profound. You understand? This is one of the most profound gauging points on where, the mind of a goddamn people's is. You see, because if you can continue to intertwine yourself in this shit, and it's one thing on Thanksgiving if you showing love to your family and shit, ain't nothing wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? But you got to find your culture in that. You see, you got to find a way to have your culture, the dominant expression of your celebration. You see, you got to make sure that that your culture is receiving the economic stimulus for the celebration. You see, like I say, these motherfuckers are always looking for a way to cancel our ass, but we can't wait to run down. And there's so many people that just feel like, there's nothing that you can't do nothing with the dollar. I done heard all type of motherfuckers say, well, the dollar is dead. Okay, nigga, find any motherfucking excuse to run down there and get that peckerwood your goddamn money, nigga, while your community is starving and this, that, and the third. We begging for shit, and I understand, even if it's ours, even if we are calling on reparation. Until we get it, we may never get it. And I don't expect for us to get it, because looking at it from a position of power, why would a man that done us the way that they done us put us in a position where we can assume power and then turn on their ass and really, and end up maybe taking the position over them? Why would they put us in a position to overtake them? You see? And so if I was in power, I wouldn't do it. So I always look, like when you playing chess and you play both sides of the damn board, you got to be reasonable about some shit. So you have to say to myself, what's the next best thing? And the next best thing is to, be strategic on how, you spend what you got. You see what I'm saying? How you take care of what you got. You see what I'm saying? Niggas didn't tow up a lot of shit. You see what I'm saying? In their own community. It might not be, but it's where your ass stand. And so if you going to rise up and go back to Africa, well, tell me what the plan is, nigga, outside of living in chaos and living in slums and shit many times that you created. You see what I'm saying? Yes, we still need what our ancestors, worked so hard for. But if you don't get it, what's the next best motherfucking answer? And so that's what we got to deal with. How to empower ourselves, how to put the economic back into our own community, you see, and uplift our own community. And we could do that. You understand? And the first thing is not being so fucking destructive on the goddamn niggas tear up houses. Niggas tear right there, and ain't nobody living in them communities but you. So it ain't no goddamn excuse. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers can keep what they got, build on that. You understand what I'm saying? And establish some type of economic base in their own community. They find every fucking excuse, and these goddamn preachers with they goddamn parasitical asses and shit sit up there on the corner in them goddamn churches while the community look like fucking Ukraine and shit, and they ain't got no goddamn incentive to, make sure that the community thrive by coming into the community, laying out blueprints and shit. You understand how the community can rise up, being a leader and how the community can come together, clean their community up, things that they can come together in a co-op, and help each other, help the block clubs and shit, where they can come and put something in the pot, and clean the community up, add some parks to the community, this, that, and the third, so the kids can have somewhere to play. We don't do that because we too busy spending all our fucking money with the adversary. So here we go again. And so we talking about November. We're talking about the blood month. Okay, this is the month of sacrifice. And let me be clear that not only was animals sacrificed, humans were sacrificed. And this is not something that I want people to be, because they always talking about sacrifice. No, they actually sacrifice, they sacrifice animals and they sacrifice humans. You see, this is taking, I make sure when I get some, I get it straight from the horse's mouth. No pun intended. I know the horse hanging from the, from the tree, but that, yes, they also sacrifice humans, and I had and I still have the video from the show The Vikings that was, way back when, and I had the episodes where they was talking about the block. You understand what I'm saying? And they showed on the series where they did, and the people that were sacrificed willingly stepped up to be sacrificed. It wasn't like they forced them or shit. I believe it's like picking for goddamn sticks and shit. Whoever get the biggest stick or the shortest stick out of all the people, they was the ones that went up to the sacrifice, and they willingly went up. You see? So it was also human, it was also animal sacrifice. And so you see it, and they would take, and when they sacrificed the animals, they would take the blood from the animal, and they would do all type of rituals where they put the blood on their face and shit, on their clothes and shit. They showed one episode, you understand, where the priestess and shit had taken the bowl, a damn pail of goddamn cow blood or horse blood, and she just poured it all over. And so it's an actual blood ritual. You see, it's an actual blood ritual that go on at this time. And so, it is sacrifice. And so your sacrifice would be with the turkeys and shit, and how many turkeys and so you get the motherfucker in the supermarket. You don't see the blood. You see the hams and shit. And so it's a sacrificial month. You know what I'm saying? And so when at no other time between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, if these motherfuckers gonna eat as many turkeys, many goddamn hams. You see what I'm saying? So it is a sacrificial time. So, it's true to that. Now, many of the symbols that's connected to Thanksgiving. Now, the thing is, before we even move out of that month, and see, we understanding that it is sacred to the Nordic gods. That you call the days of the week out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We understand that Tuesday for Tyre or T-Wise. You see what I'm saying? Tyre, T-Y-E, T-Y-R, and T-Wise, T-I-W-A-Z. T-Wise, the same God, but two different pronunciations. T-Wise and Tyr, Tuesday. You got Wednesday, Odin, the chief god of the Asgardian Nordic gods. You see it. Marvel Comics, you seen that I believe it was Anthony Hopkins played Odin in the Marvel Comics Thor movies. Okay? And so he played Odin or Woden. And Woden, and his name means fury. Okay, so you talking about energy, you talking about demonic entities. That's what they are, demonic. So you see his name actually means fury. Okay, Wednesday. So if your ass getting mad on Wednesday a lot, And you know, especially if you invoking his name. And see, that's the killing part about it. Because many niggas say, oh, they don't, invoke demons and shit and this. But you call and see, you don't understand the root of what you're saying. And so many motherfuckers, they say they don't call on other gods. They swear they Christian, Jewish, Hebrew, Muslim, this and that, and they swear they're true to their practice. But I can show you where you're calling on many gods every fucking day, whether you call on Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, even Sunday, even though it's the sun worship. The word, this is a Germanic language. The word sun is from the Viking Germanic language. It comes from the goddess Suna, Sunna, which is also a Nordic god. All the days of the week are either Nordic gods or they're Roman gods, okay? And the only Roman god is Saturday, which is Saturn. The other gods, except Moon, but see, they don't say Monday. It was lunar, and so it's, even in that, that one might have been Roman too. I have to go back and check. But I know Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday is Thor, and Friday is Frigga, his mama. And you can go watch the Marvel, and you see how profound, even in Marvel comics, how they got them goddamn Nordic deities and shit. Thor and shit didn't have more goddamn movies than any one of them motherfuckers. He on it, and he's slated to have more and more and more. And so even in the goddamn Marvel comics, I used to be in the comic books. You know what I'm saying? Now today I was doing some research, and they done made this motherfucker all powerful in Marvel comic, the actual comic book. He's like the most powerful motherfucker in all the fucking in all the Marvel comics. He's their Christ. He's their Nordic Christ. You see what I'm saying? So it's not by coincidence that Thanksgiving is the only major holiday that fall on Thursday. Okay? In the blood month, in the blood block month. Okay, the blood month. Okay, on a Thursday. You see? So it's not by coincidence. It is in veneration of the god Thor. Okay, and then we're going to get off into some of these symbols that you might not even, but you're going to know today, from the cornucopia, the oak tree, the oak leaf, and anything that got to do, even the acorn. All of that is sacred to Zeus and to Thor. Okay, and we're going to back that up. It's not a problem. You see? And so now let's start number one. Let me see if I come what we call the cornucopia. You see? And so what we got to understand that, because see, you see the wicker basket. You you're just thinking it's a fucking basket. No, it's a horn. You see? It's a fucking horn. And so when you see cornu, Cornu, that means horn. You see? And then you got copia, meaning plenty. And so another term for the cornucopia is horn of plenty. But horn of what? See? Horn of what? And that's what we're going to get to the root of. You understand what I'm saying? And you're going to get back to the goat. Now, in the legend, okay, in the legend of Zeus, let me go down here. Where's that legend at? Okay, and I'll come back up. Now, I'm going to show you in this, and I'm going to move swiftly because I could do this. You can see the similarities between Jesus and Zeus. The similarities is so prevalent that it's like damn astounding. And so when you read the book by Kersey Graves, The 16 Crucified Saviors, you will understand how these same deities, regardless of culture, the stories are being rehashed and rehashed and rehashed in all these differences of cultures, and the similarities different in some areas, but profoundly similar in others. Now, if you don't understand the story of Zeus, when he was a child, his father, Kronos, okay, Kronos. Now in Rome, he's Saturn. In Greece, he's Kronos, and Kronos means crown. You see, crown. And so he was he was very insecure about his rule. Somebody trying to take his throne from him. And so now, he was known to eat his own children. You see many instances where he's eating his own children. And so he ate all the siblings of Zeus except Zeus. And when it came to Zeus, his mama became a little slick. And when it came time to bring Zeus to Kronos so he could eat him, she wrapped a rock in his swaddling, his baby swaddling, and handed it to him. So he just swallowed the stone, and she took him off and hid him on the island of Crete, which is very similar to King Herod seeking Jesus as a child, and they taking Jesus off into Egypt. You see? So it says here, mythology offers multiple explanations of the origin of the Cornucopia. One of the best known involves the birth and nutrients of infant Zeus, who had to be hidden from his devouring father Cronus in a cave on Mount Etna, Etta, on the island of Crete. Baby Zeus was cared for and protected by a number of divine attendants, including the goat Amalthea, nourishing goddess who fed him with her milk. The suckling future king of the god had unusual abilities and strength, and in playing with his nursemaid, accidentally broke off one of her horns, which then had the divine power to provide unending nourishment as the foster mother had to the god. And so when he broke the damn horn off, this is where you get the cornucopia. You see, that's the goat horn, That's the goat horn. So when you look at Amalthea, you're looking at the feminine aspect of the god Pan, the goat god, the primordial goat god, the great god. And if you look over there to the right, as you see one of his attendants, Zeus, feeding him from the horn. You see Pan right there, and you see him with the pan flute. You see the pan flute right there. He's playing on the on the pan flute. So you see right here, we get into, but he's not the only god attributed the cornucopia, but he's the personified god. The other gods and goddesses that's connected is Saturn. He's the god of the harvest, so he's also depicted with the cornucopia. And the god is the harvest goddess Ceres and Demeter, which are both the Greek and the Roman goddess of harvest. And so all three of them, and even Fortuna, you see, all these gods and goddesses were attributed to cornucopia, but is more profoundly attributed to Zeus. Now, when you get down here, you also see Capricorn. You see? And so, Capri means goat. You see? And we already know cornu means horn. So that's, this is more direct. Capricorn, horn of the goat, or a goat horn. You see what I'm saying? So we understand that, this is a very a personified time of goat worship. You see, and we're going to see that Thursday is also one, in essence, is an archetype of the goat god. You see, because he's pulled through the sky by, two goats. He's pulled by, and so this had a profound effect on Santa Claus. You see, because that's who it is. Odin and Thor is the two gods, that has become what today you call Santa Claus. Ain't no motherfucking St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas ain't had no goddamn chariot flying through no motherfucking sky. Give up on that. You see what I'm saying? Give up on that. That's all that goddamn Greco-Roman shit. So you see here, Zeus, you understand, with the cornucopia. You see right here, cornucopia, a symbol of plenty consisting of a goat's horn. You see? So you sitting up here with all this cornucopia shit. You don't know what the fuck. Nigga, you just, a mindless nigga. You understand? With some apples. You see some apples and shit. And that's how they use. That doesn't no different than putting cheese on a goddamn trap. You understand what I'm saying? To get a motherfucker to do some shit and venerate some shit, and they don't even know what the hell going on. You understand what I'm saying? And many niggas, when they do the goddamn research, they don't goddamn care. Because they personified the goat energy anyway. You see, they personified. So you see here, the nutrients and nurturants of Almathea, and you see right there the goat, and you also see in there. You can see he got one of the others as a baby. He got one of the others right there. So you see, there's a heavy bestiality here too. You understand what I'm saying? This is some heavy bestiality right there. You see Fortuna, you see, which is the goddess of fortune, and she had the blindfold on her hair, on her eyes. You understand what I'm saying? And so you see right here Thor drinking from the cattle horn, and also the goat horn. So from the Greek and the Roman, they had that animal horn, and I'm not for sure, even in Africa, they very well may drink out of horns and shit, because and people that have cattle, they tend to find something to do with all that, but we dealing with a specific culture. So we know what this means, and we know exactly what it means. And you see Odin also drinking from the goat horn. You see the Vikings drink from the horn like Zeus drunk from the goat's horn. And it says, whatever the case, Zeus was tenderly raised by the magical goat on her supernatural milk, and he swiftly grew to mighty adulthood. Then, when he was ready to begin his war on the Titans, his father, Kronos, he killed Amalthea, skinned her, and fashioned her hide to his impregnable aegis, which is, a shield. You see, a symbol of his omnipotent authority, second only to the lightning bolt. And so it's almost like the golden fleece. You understand? Whoever had the golden fleece was invincible. Okay, he broke off Amalthea's magic horn and made it into the cornucopia, which forever provides endless bounty of food, and gave it to the nymphs. He then hung his foster mother among the stars as the constellation Capri. You see, Capricorn, okay, and set off to make war on the Titans. Okay, and so we done that right there. Okay, and so even within the Nordic, you see, they got some of that goat shit up there too, where they believe that, any of the warriors that die in battle, they go off to, Valhalla, which is, the Nordic heaven for souls, where only certain warriors, if you die honorably in battle, you understand what I'm saying, you would carry off to Valhalla. You couldn't just be, you went out there and you died like a punk. You had to die a heroic death, and they would carry you off to Valhalla. And when you go to Valhalla, they had a goat there that gave out an endless amount of beer. Them motherfuckers was drunks. Them damn Vikings, all them motherfuckers, but them goddamn Vikings, that's all they do. The motherfucker drank. And so that was what they wanted in their heaven. And they, and then so they created a goat and shit that, give out endless amount of damn beer. And so another thing that's profound with these people, because you got to understand that these peoples are in the woods. You see what I'm saying? That way you got Woden. Another term, Woden, is also wooden, meaning that, them people, they lived in the woods. You see what I'm saying? And so this is where you get Woden from. You see, and so inside, this is where you get, you have sacred grottos, you have sacred groves, and now a grove is in the forest, and it's very. The thing is about a grove where you can go in certain areas of the forest, and it might have underbrush. You see what I'm saying? That's not a grove. Groves is where you got a large amounts of trees, but it's bare to the ground. You see, it's nothing, ain't no underbrush or nothing. It's bare to the ground, just bare ground. And so in these areas where they would build altars, and you see what I'm saying? So the groves, and so they, inside of these groves, they would have like one tree that was more profound than other. And so in this Viking Germanic veneration of Thor, they had an oak tree that they call Donar's oak tree. And so it was sacred, and they would go in there and they would have ceremonies and sacrifices at this tree. And it was, and so it ends up that after, when the Christians came in, they had this one. I don't know if he was I believe he was just a priest. You know what I'm saying? They call him Boniface, and he chopped the goddamn tree down because this was, a symbol of Christianity conquering the pagans. That's why when you see Santa Claus, and that's the Dutch, version of now he actually come before Santa Claus. You understand what I'm saying? So you can see the play on the name of Santa Claus come from Santa Claus. You see, Santa Claus is the German, Santa type. Before Santa, Santa is the last. He's the American. So you have Father Christmas coming out of Britain. You had Santa Claus coming out of the I believe Switzerland, Dutch area and shit. Then you had this other motherfucker called Bell Nickel, and he come up out of northern France, a bum looking like motherfucker walking around with a switch. See, all of these types were pre-Santa Claus. They were pre-Santa Claus. Because again, when I'm trying to put in y'all mind, when you looking at coming into, Samhain, which, starting with Halloween, the last day, Halloween, going into November, going into December, you talking about in the Nordic realm, you going in, this is the most sinister times because it's cold, it's dark, and when it becomes cold and it becomes dark, all these malevolent entities come out. You see, they didn't have no goddamn nice time. They was trying to stay alive in that motherfucker. And so you had the Krampuses and even, a lot of these Christmas witches that they don't talk about, like Gryla. Now, you can look that up. Gryla, I believe she come from Iceland. And she, sinister, and she had 12 sons. They call them the trolls. I forget what they call them. You understand? And then each one want to come down, one a day for the 12 days of Yule. This is where you get the 12 days of Christmas, because it ain't no 12 days of Christmas. It's only goddamn December 25th. And so they adopted on the first day of Christmas. And so they adopted that from Yule. And so she had one son, a troll, that would come down out of the mountains, because they was in the mountains. This was a mountainous troll goddess. Witch. You see what I'm saying? And so each day and each troll had some mischief attribute. One motherfucker come down and pull all your goddamn plates and cups and shit and break them down, and throw them down on the goddamn ground and shit. You understand what I'm saying? And shit like that. And so each one had a sinister. And so that's Gryla. And so the stories they would tell these kids during what you call Yule, which today is Christmas, they were so demonic and sinister till the government of Iceland banned the goddamn parents from telling the damn stories. They had this. So you had Gryla, you had this other Yule witch they call Frau Percher, okay, the emballer. And you had to keep your eye on your children because she'll pull their bile, the stomach out. You know what I'm saying? She's the emballer and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Shit like, goddamn, what the fuck is y'all talking about? What the fuck is y'all on? You know what I'm saying? And they know this shit to be true. And so this is, and so you got all these Christmas. And so what happened was, a lot of this shit was the dominant culture of these Europeans. And so when the Catholic Church came in, they Christianized it. So now I seen it over in Iceland. They didn't kind of, Disneyland the shit where Greiler, they still got this bitch, they had a parade and they got her ugly ass out there and shit. They still show her to be a witch, but they didn't kind of Disneyland the shit. You see what I'm saying? So Krampus was there before, Santa Claus. And so the night before, because, St. Nicholas Day is December 6th. It's not the 5th, 25th. It's December 6th. You see? So that's when they had a celebration. You see what I'm saying? So even there, they wasn't practicing no December 25th. It was December 6th. Now, December 5th is actually Krampus night. And if you ever look it up and you see they still had a festival at night where all the peoples and shit in a part of the festivity, they put all these demonic goat costumes on and hideous faces. I mean, like, goddamn, hideous. The kids out there crying and shit, and they bring their kids out there with their silly ass. And so they still have Krampus night. This was the basis of the celebration. And then the Catholics and shit conquered the pagans. And so they added the Christmas shit on top of it. You see, and that's what y'all fail to understand. You see, and so a lot of it have crept off into the American thing, the American worship. But see, America, you see, the one thing about America about capitalism. They know they can't make no money. So they really wanted to make money. So they knew that they had to orient it around the kids having a nice time. And, that's what they did. And that's what, how they got their thing, so they separated themselves from all that demonic shit. You understand what I'm saying? They separated themselves from all that demonic shit because even Father Christmas from Britain and all, if you see the earlier ones, they would always be carrying a switch. You understand what I'm saying? They was whooping the kids. You see what I'm saying? If you was good, they give you a couple pieces of candy. If you was bad, they show Father Christmas, they show Santa Claus, and they show all them up for Krampus, Bell Nickel, all them up for whooping the kids. And then Krampus with taking the goddamn kids, putting them in a bag and taking them to hell. If they was too bad, they were taking them to hell. So when you think about in the northern realm, up until Santa Claus, this time of the year was not what kids look forward to this shit. Because all that shit was surrounded by, he knows when you're asleep and he knows when you're awake. You better be bad or good or be good for goodness sake. So even in that shit, he kind of letting you know, nigga, we know what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So they still, got some semblance in there, that old Santa. And we understand, they call him Saint Nick, you know what I'm saying? And we understand that old Nick is a term that is used for Satan. And we understand that Santa is an anagram for Satan. And we understand that Satan is an anagram for Saturn. And we know that Satan is a archetype of the primordial goat god, Pan. That's what he is. Okay? Now, check this shit out. Check this shit out. Because it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that the Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's, with the goddamn star of Saturn up there. You understand what I'm saying? it's not a coincidence that Thanksgiving Day parade in New York is the largest parade in the world. Okay? The largest parade in the world with an estimate 2 to 3 million spectators. Okay? And so you see how it's a procession. You see, Thor get his, he get all his worship. He get all his veneration. You understand what I'm saying? Now, all these holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, all of them are interconnected. You can't separate them because it's a procession of portals. It's a stage of ceremonies. You see, and you can't leave one out. One leads to the other. You see, but it is their New Year's in November for the Nordics. You see, November, the blood month. And so you have to venerate the gods, and it's not a coincidence that you would have Thanksgiving Day parade in New York being the largest parade in honor of Thor on Thanksgiving, on Thor's Day. You see, and I'm gonna get off into that deeper when I do the parade. Now, the thing is to show you the semblance, how they did not only taking Thanksgiving, but even going into Christmas and New Year's, because baby Jesus is only Bacchus, baby Zeus, Bacchus, Eros. You see, that's all. He's replaced those Roman deities as children. You see, when you look at Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, a lot of people say that's Isis and that's Osiris, that's Horus, but you got to understand that there was some, that's actually Serapis. You see, when you look at it, it didn't just jump from Osiris, Isis, Osiris, and Horus to Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. No, you had that Serapis, and you had that Greco-Roman Isis, and you had that one little child, he called Horus. You see what I'm saying? Look just like a little white boy with his thumb in his mouth and shit and this, that, and the third. You see what I'm saying? So you had that, and that's what actually became the white Jesus, the white Mary, the white Joseph. You see what I'm saying? And so that Horus was to them just like Serapis, was nothing more than Zeus intertwined with the Apis, and and taking the energy or usurping the energy of Osiris, but it's Zeus. You see, it's Zeus. And so when you look at Jesus, all Jesus is, he usurped Bacchus, which is, you see the baby, the baby Bacchus with the wine and shit. And so you see how profound, in baby New Year. That's who Bacchus is, baby New Year. You see, now when Zeus was being hid by his mother, he went up into Crete. Okay, and now if you look here, it's a cave. It says Zeus grows up hidden in the mountains of Crete. In the meantime, little Zeus was growing up in the cave where, and they doubled up and said the same shit. The goat god Almathea and the nymph Melissa. So this cave in Crete is where all these visitors come and, to, play on that story that Zeus hid in this cave. And you understand? Now, when you go into Bethlehem and you go to the Church of the Nativity, there's also a cave inside of that church. You got to go down in this grotto right here. And you see the stairs that's leading down to this grotto, just like you go to Crete and you go down into this cave, which is a grotto, with a sacred, inside the cave, and you got a sacred ceremonial setup, altar, and so on and so forth, where you go in the cave and you have these ceremonies. That's a grotto, you see? And so you see right here, this one is in Akron, Ohio, where it's a duplicate of the one in Bethlehem, and it's called the Bethlehem Cave. It's a cave located in the nativity of the Lord. It ain't my Lord Jesus. Church is a replica of the cave where Jesus was born, as it appears today in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. It's a cave. So Zeus was brought up in the cave. Jesus was brought up in the cave. Let me keep it moving. When you go down into that cave and you look into the cave, you see the symbol of the sun in there. Go look it up. Go look it up. You see the symbol of the sun. See, and the crazy shit about it, Thor led us through this portal. You wouldn't have never got this shit. You ain't gonna get this shit like this except you come through with the general. You know how I do. You see? And so you see right here, this is the grotto. You lead down in them steps. You go into the now, this is the thing. You see right here to the left, that's supposed to be Kronos eating his children. And then you look to the right, that's supposed to be Herod, killing all the children because he don't know who the savior is. He don't. So he's told to, kill, anybody under the age of 2. And so you see even there, they both, and Herod is an archetype of Cronus. He's an archetype of Cronus. And so we get to, Moloch, you see what I'm saying? Which they say the Canaanites, and they always want to attribute a lot of crazy shit to the Canaanites because they need for them to be sinister so they can have a reason to take over the land, which is African people land. And so they got this god called Moloch, which, they sacrifice children to. And so Moloch or Baal, he's also, in many instances called Baal, B-A-A-L. You see, and people don't even know that Moloch is where you get milk from. That shit is crazy. That's crazy. When you spell his name in the so-called Punic language or even in the Hebrew, they spell it M-L-K. There ain't no vowels in there. You see what I'm saying? And so this is where you get the word milk from Moloch. You see? And so you better be careful. Now, and so you see Cronus, and I didn't put, let me see what Cronus is. I couldn't put him in there like, here he is right here. And so you see him right there. You see, where is that one? I got to put that one in there where it shows, Jesus in the swaddling too. You know what I'm saying? You both of them in the swaddling, you know what I'm saying? Wrapped up. Where is that one? I'll probably put it in there somewhere. Let me see if I got it in here. Damn, I'm at 57 minutes already. I knew I was gonna be heavy on this one. I'm gonna have to push the other ones back. I am. I'm gonna have to come back tomorrow and finish. I wanted to touch on them today. I'm gonna have to touch on them tomorrow because I want to put my emphasis on this tonight. Okay. Let me see if I got the one with Jesus. But anyway, as we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna be touching on this throughout the sinister hella days. You see what I'm saying? But y'all can imagine, Jesus, when he, as a baby, he wrapped up in the swaddling, you know what I'm saying? And so, and you see right there, you see Zeus wrapped up in the swaddling. And so that's same as the veil. You see, same as the veil. And you see the hood, and you're going to see all of these gods, whether it's Jesus, whether it's Saturn, whether it's Odin, because he's called the wanderer also. And so all these gods is wanderers and shit. You know what I'm saying? Wanderers. Jesus wandered from city to city. You understand what I'm saying? And so here you see, Hera giving Zeus to Kronos, and here you got some supposed Canaanite giving their children to the god Moloch. You understand what I'm saying? Burning their children alive. Now, you also see that Zeus is also symbolized as the bull. You see, he's also symbolized as the bull because he turned into a bull many times. He took Europa, and I guess she was from, I don't know if she was from whatever country, and he took her off and did, and so he even as the Minotaur. You understand what I'm saying? But that might have, was that Zeus? I believe it was. He transformed himself into a bull. And then, in an old bestial manner, he impregnated the wife of the queen, king of Crete, Minos, King Minos, and out came the Minotaur. You see what I'm saying? So he's also, so you got to see these guys as archetypes of, when you see the bull and still falling in line with the goat. You see? Now, it ain't got nothing to do with the African, because you got to understand these are two different energies. You understand? We are myopic. We are not. We're what the word that I'm looking for? The two furthest extreme, diametric opposites. That's what I was looking for. And so, we never mean the same thing. And I broke that down many, many times. So you see here, you see Thor to the right with his goat. Then you see Saturn, you understand, which when it comes into the house of Capricorn, the ruling planet is Saturn. So they twins. You see Capricorn, you see the goat at the bottom, and you see Saturn, you see the circle. He's also a harvest god, and so that's his connection with the cornucopia. You see Baal, and then you see the right, you see Odin, you see the eye, because he lost his eye. So you see, if you look over the eye of that's a deer, but it's the same symbolism. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same. And so you see that these are archetypes. Now, even when you go into the Capitol, when you go into St. Peter's, you see sitting up there, you understand, supposedly Moses with the horns. You see, sitting up there with the horns right there. You see that ball? That's the goat. You understand what I'm saying? That's the personification of the goat energy. You see? And so, like I say, when you see right there, you see Santa Claus. You see Santa Claus there, right? With Krampus. And then you see supposedly Jesus with Lucifer. You see? And so when you see here, you see Saturn or Cronus carrying the children off. But look at Father Christmas. You see how he putting the children? He's an archetype of Saturn. Now, I was going to get into, what's that company that, the Kanye Balenciaga, you know what I'm saying? Balenciaga. You see what I'm saying? They didn't put them children up there and shit, this, that, and the third. And they've been indicted by the goddamn Supreme Court for pandering and shit, or children. You see, the word pander comes from pan. Goddamn, look that shit up. Pandemonium, pander, panic. All of that shit come out of the root of Pan, the goat god. They say when motherfucker, he jump out and motherfuckers would see him, he would bring panic. Where he lived, pandemonium. This is where you get pagan from. This is where you get pagan from, because the pagans lived out in the woods and shit. And so another term for the pagans was heathens, because they lived in the heath, and the heath was the swamp areas and shit like that. You see? And so now when we talk about, now we getting into the oak tree, which is sacred to Thor and Zeus. You see, you look down here, you see Zeus, Jupiter, and you look down there, you see the oak leaf. You see? And you see Thor's hammer, you see the acorn, you see the oak. Now, just like we went over, Boniface, he went out there, and it looked like he got a bishop's hat on. I don't know if he was a bishop or not, but I know he's a saint. You know what I'm saying? And, and so he cuts down the oak tree. It says right there, Boniface cutting down oak tree used in pagan worship rites. You see? And so you see again, and another term for Thor was Donar. You see? And so you can see right here that they didn't, this right there in the church, they didn't transferred it right on over into the church, you see? And you see right here, say pagans and oak trees around 17, an English priest, he was a priest, called Boniface, went to Germany as a missionary and settled in the region of Hesse. The people there were pagans and they worshiped at sacred trees. The main tree in the area was the large oak called the Donar. Donar is the old German word for the mythological hammer-wielding god of thunder, also known as Thor or Jupiter. So when they changed the days of the week over, today it's called Thursday for Thor. But before the Vikings, it was referred to as the day of Jupiter. You see? And so that show you, because Thor and Jupiter are thunder gods, but so is Baal. You see? But so is Baal. So is Moloch, is a thunder god. According to the legend, Boniface would call for people to come and hear him preach, but he just couldn't draw a crowd. Everyone was out worshiping at the big Donar oak. Something had to be done. Boniface decided to prove to the locals once and for all that his God was mightier than theirs. So he announced a meeting at the Donar tree. When everyone had gathered, Boniface pulled out an axe and started hacking at the tree's trunk. But no one tried to stop him. They were just curious. The tree that represented their God looked much stronger than his scrawny little priest with, than a little scrawny little priest with an axe. They were just watching and waiting for Thor to throw down a thunderbolt and finish off the mad missionary. But after Boniface had made only a few chops, a strong wind rushed through the forest, and the mighty oak began to crack and lean. Thor's devotees scattered as the representation of their God crashed to the ground. Of course, they got a lot of legend, fable in there. Ain't no little motherfucker gonna just chop down no goddamn big ass tree with no little ass hatchet. You see? And so now, when you come to Thanksgiving, you see right here, say acorn and oak leaf. See, this Thursday. See, the thing is, they'll have leaves and shit, and but they make sure they have. If you want that top quality shit, you ready to, and they cash out, that shit gonna be oak. You understand what I'm? The acorn, the shit that they make, they're gonna make sure that shit is oak. They ain't gonna just have any. Now that right there, the wreath, that's oak leaf. You see, those are oak leaves and oak acorns. Okay. Now it was also sacred not only to it's a lot of the European that had the oak tree sacred. The Celtics also. And that they all, because you got the Minnesota Vikings, you got the Boston Celtics. A lot of people don't, what the fuck is the Celtics? That's the Druids. You see, that's the Druids, the Vikings, the Minnesota, the Oakland Raiders and shit. And so they still into their culture. Don't you ever fucking forget it. Okay, the Celtic tree of life is the oak tree. It was the most sacred tree of all, which represented the center of the world. The Celtic name for oak, daur, is the origin of the word door. The root of the oak tree was literally the doorway to the other world, the realm of the fairy. And so this is where you had these groves. See, it ain't no underbrushes, pretty, now that one, they got some, some underbrush. You see what I'm saying? But, usually they don't have no underbrush. You see also Demeter, which is the Greco-Roman goddess of harvest, and you also see the Cornucopia and also the sheaf of wheat, and you see down there the wheat wrapped in like something like a string wrapped around it, or maybe even from another piece of the stalk of the wheat. They wrap it around many stalks. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you call a sheaf of wheat. And so when you go into your game and you go to these places, you still see the veneration of the sheaf of wheat that's sacred not to Demeter or her Greek equivalent, which is Ceres or Cereal. Okay, this is where you get cereal from. Or Ceres, most of a bounteous lady, the rich uh, leaves of wheat, rye, and barley. You see, and you see her right there with the cornucopia. You see her right there with the cornucopia. Okay, Saturn and Fortuna with the cornucopia. So many of these Greek gods, especially the harvest gods. So you understand that Thanksgiving is a harvest holiday. You see, and so many of the Greco-Roman, Nordic, Celtic, all three, because those are the three cultures that had their greatest influence on the American Caucasian. You see, you understand? And so again, you see right there Saturn, and you can even see down there where you see the Pharaoh, and that means that they have conquered Egypt. They've conquered the Romans have conquered Egypt. You see, and they show you down there, again showing you Saturn, and really, and this is where you got these Ashkenazis, coming up out of Germany and shit, and I'm gonna get on their ass because even a lot of them see in very crazy, because when you think about Germany was a lot like Britain, because the Germans actually conquered Britain. You understand? So the gods that end up being, a part of their day, the olden, and Germany was worshiping the same gods, and they also had that same interaction with the Romans, and so they had, a mixture between the Viking and the Roman also. And so when you get over there, and when you look at the root and you look at the prefix of Ash, Kenazi, even that Ash, which is a tree. When you talk about that sacred tree of the Asgardians, Yggdrasil, you understand, which is the tree that sits in, the central tree of creation, is an ash tree. Now, when you deal with that tree, is an ash tree. And so when you look at the prefix of the Ash Kenazi, you see, and so when you get off into that, the tree of life and this, that, and the third, when you go deeper and deeper, one of the aspects of that goddamn tree of life coming up out of Germany, because those people had a very profound effect on the book, because they was the printers. You understand what I'm saying? No matter what niggas say, they was the printers of the book. You see, they were the one with the printing presses. Gutenberg. You understand what I'm saying? What's the other motherfucker that took it from me? Both of them was Jews. Both of them. Gutenberg and the other guy. I believe his name was False. What's the guy? I get his name. You understand what I'm saying? So you see right there your Ham, and you see right there, you see the Nordic goddess, I forget her name. I believe it was Freya. Just like her brother, the boar, the wild boar, you understand what I'm saying, was the sacred animal. Let me see. I think I done came down to about the end. I was gonna see if I could. Where's that guy at? That guy Freya with the boar. But it don't make no difference. That's where you niggas get y'all hams from. You understand what I'm saying? So I did a quick rundown for y'all. You see what I'm saying? The rundown for y'all, so that y'all will know that. And so, they're all interconnected. So if I go back and to go forward, don't worry about it. Because Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, which is Yule, and New Year's are all interconnected, and they do not exist independent of one another. And that's why when you see on Thanksgiving, you see what in Macy's, which is the law, you see Santa coming at the end, and that lets you know that his portal. You understand what I'm saying? And you understand who Santa Claus is, right? He's Odin. He's Thor. He's Thor. So in actuality, they showing you that he's coming down for his veneration. He's coming. Let me show you, family. Let me show you. He's coming down for his veneration. But see, y'all niggas see Santa Claus. Let me get the one with him. That's him with St. Peter. Right here. This one. You see, because, Santa is a carpenter. You see him with his hammer, and who made I could get it, who made the fucking the weaponry for the Nordic gods, the dwarves. Even in the movie Marvel Comics, they show you the dwarves made Thor's hammers and all the weaponry. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the same as Ptah, the dwarf, who was the god of the craftsmen. It's the same fucking story. And so you got the little elves and shit, just like the dwarves made. You understand the weaponry and all the special magical creations of the gods. Then you got the little elves, and you see El in elves. You see El in elves, okay? The Canaanite deity. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? And so making the toys. It's the same story, family. It is. And there's some demonic shit in there too. Because the thing is, which I wanted to say before I get out of here, which I should have, what really connects it, because Kronos and Bob. Now, Kronos was in prison in Tartarus. Okay, that's their hell. Even if you watch what's that movie? Clash of the Titans. You understand what I'm saying? But the second one, that's when the Wrath of the Titans. And in that one, if you ever watch that one, the Wrath, you see Kronos, they fight Kronos at the end. You understand? You see Hades, the brother Zeus, he was jealous. And so, he wanted to assume power over Olympus. So he let Kronos out of Tartarus. Hell. So this is his abode. So when you look at that all of the, and which is Saturn, you see, which is and Santa is an anagram for Saturn. So you see the abode is hell. You understand what I'm saying? You see, that's where the energy is coming from. You see? And so, and that's why, again, and I could go on and on. This is why Santa, Saint Nick, and you see Satan is old Nick. You see? Old Nick. Same thing. The devil. Okay? This is just the first video. I'll get back with y'all tomorrow. I had set up 2 more videos, but I'm going to do them early tomorrow, family. Y'all just stay tuned. I hope y'all enjoyed this information. Bag it up, and do it again. All right. This is the General Sara Seti. Check me out, family. Check me out. KingSeti.com, GeneralSeti.com. Get on over there to my Patreon. I put the new lecture, The Root of All European Civilization, not civilization, holidays over there on my Patreon. Powerful. All right, family. This is the General Sara Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.